Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are from group 12 and we would like to present about Ibnu Qayyim al-Jawziyah. Our group consists of me, Mawada binti Zaharuddin, Syafiqah Izzati binti Fauzi, Nur Farah Afika binti Muhammad Lihat, Nur Afifa binti Aziz, and Najwa Hayani binti Sayyid. In today's presentation, we are going to look into discussions about prophets in the Holy Quran. Second is we are going to look into the biography and views of Ibnu Qayyim al-Jawzi, and the third is we are going to discuss Ibnu Qayyim's view on prophetic medicine. So the first subtopic, which is prophets in the Holy Quran, will be presented by me, Mawada binti Zaharuddin, 118-1974. In the Holy Quran, Allah uses the word Nabi to describe the word prophet. For example, in this verse, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ وَلَا نَبِيٍّ إِلَّا إِذَا تَمَنَّى أَلْقَى الشَّيْطَانُ فِي أُمْنِيَّتِهِ. So we can see from the translation that there are two words being used by Allah to describe His chosen ones. The first is Rasul, which is literally being translated to messenger, and Nabi, which is translated to prophet. So while talking about prophet, the word in Arabic is Nabi and it's not Rasul. So let's see the definition of prophet. Nabi in Arabic is derived from an-naba, which is news. So an-nabi means informant of news. So from Oxford, Cambridge, a prophet is a person who is believed to have a special power that allows them to say what God wishes to tell people, especially about things that will happen in the future. So we can see that this Cambridge translation actually align with what a prophet in Islam is being portrayed. So the first is the word special power. The word special power here, the word special power here is mu'jizat. So we can see that God chose Nabi and often gave them special power to show that they are the true person of God. And next is prophet tell things God wishes to tell people, especially about things that will happen in the future. So most of the prophet who come to their people will talk about how we are going to be resurrected after we die, and the hereafter is real. So they came to tell us that this world is merely temporary. So because from the previous verse that is being used, there are two phrases used to explain the chosen ones, which are Rasul and Nabi. So the Islamic scholars has been discussing that because Allah used these two words in a verse, so that literally means that these words is different. So there are three views on what is the difference between prophet and Nabi. Let's take a look on the first view of the difference between Nabi and Rasul. The first view stated that Rasul is obliged to deliver the message, while it is not compulsory for Nabi to do so. But this view is being rebutted because it is impossible for Allah to send a Nabi but to told them to hide the message, while it is compulsory for us to show the beauty of Islam and doing da'wah and spread the message of Islam. The second view is that Rasul received new commands and laws or Sharia, while Nabi continued preaching based on previous Rasul's message. But this view is also being rejected by certain scholars because there's a hadith, that's a saying of Prophet stating that Prophet Nuh alayhi salam is the first Rasul. So if Prophet Nuh is the first Rasul that received new commands and law, isn't it weird that Adam, as the first human being created, not receiving commands and law? So this view has rejection to it. So the third view is that Rasul preached to non-believers while Nabi preached only to believers. So this is the strongest view at this time, because as the hadith mentioned that Prophet Nuh alayhi salam is the first Rasul. So it is also recorded that it is also being recorded that during the time of Prophet Noah, it is the start of idol worshipping among human beings. In the era of Adam alayhi salam, there is no non-believers, as all believe in Allah, and they only do sins which is common to people to do mistakes. So the third view is by far the most authentic view. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shafika Izzati binti Fauzi, 1181999. So now we're going to continue this presentation. We're going to go deep in the footsteps of Abu Abdullah Ibnu Qayyim al-Jawziyah. So Ibnu Qayyim's full name is Shams al-Din Abu Bakr Muhammad bin Abu Bakr al-Zari al-Dimashqi. He was born on 7 Safar 691 Hijrah on 29th January 2092, and he was died when he was 58 years old. That is on 25th Rajab 751 Hijrah or 26th September 1350 in Damascus. So he was called as Ibnu Qayyim because the Qayyim itself comes from his father's role in the society. His father worked as a Qayyim of a madrasa, that is Madrasa Jawziyah in Damascus. And when I read the information about Ibnu Qayyim, there's a different opinion regarding the status of the status of the Qayyim. Some opinions say that Qayyim is the manager of the madrasa, and some opinions say that Qayyim is the cleaner of the madrasa. So he was called as Ibnu Qayyim, or son of Qayyim. So his fields of study is tafsir, Sufism, hadith, usul fiqh, and furu'. His teachers are Ibnu Taymiyyah, Qadi Sulaiman bin Hamzah, Sheikh Abu Bakr, and Ahmad al-Ibrahim al-Wasiti. So among all of his sheikh and teachers, Ibn Taymiyyah is one of the most significant teachers that he had, because Ibn Taymiyyah give so much influence to his life. So Ibn Taymiyyah was sent to the prison in 726 Hijrah or 1326, after he condemned the popular practice of visiting saints' graves. And I don't know why the government sent Ibn Taymiyyah in the jail. Maybe there's some issue that time. But because of that, all of Ibn Taymiyyah's disciples were sent into jail, including Ibn Qayyim. But after a while, most of his disciples was released from the prison after receiving the punishment and so on. But that's not the case for Ibn Qayyim. He was kept in the prison with Ibn Taymiyyah until Ibn Taymiyyah died in 731 Hijrah or around 1351 to 1332. So basically, Ibn Qayyim was kept in the prison around 5 to 6 years. And imagine yourself if you was kept in the prison, if you are kept in the prison, while knowing that you haven't done anything wrong, it might be frustrating and disappointing, isn't it? But that's not the case for Ibn Qayyim. While he was in prison, he spent his time reading Quran and meditating, and he also gained deep understanding of Sufism. And after he was released from the prison, he made a few journeys to Mecca to do ibadah. And I realized when I read this information about Ibn Qayyim, he rarely left Damascus, but after he was released from the prison, he made a few journeys to Mecca. And it made him an obedient slave to Allah. And Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani is one of his disciples. He tells that when Ibn Qayyim performed his dawn prayers or subuh, he continued invoking God. He continued to do ibadah until the sun was well up, and Ibnu Qayyim said that this is my breakfast. If I do not get it, my strength declines. That shows how passionate Ibnu Qayyim while doing his ibadah for Allah. Okay, next, there are some books that Ibnu Qayyim wrote. The first one is Zad al-Ma'ad fi Hadi Khair al-Ibad Muhammad, or in English, Provisions for the Hereafter on the Guidance of the Best Servants Muhammad. So in this book, Ibnu Qayyim collect a few events in Rasulullah's life, and he guides us on how to follow the Sunnah, and this also includes the prophetic medicine. The second one is Madarij al-Salikin. Since Ibnu Qayyim is one of the greatest Hanbali scholars, so Madarij al-Salikin is one of the masterpieces in Hanbali literature. And third one is I'lam al-Muwaqqin. I'lam al-Muwaqqin is an usul fiqh kitab that has been known as the guide for perfect mufti. And there are some of the students. The first one is Ibn Kathir Zain al-Din Ibn Rajab. He was the last representative of great middle era Hanbalism. And the next one is Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, who is famous writer among Wahhabi and Salafiyah among North African Muslims.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Farah Afika binti Muhammad Lihan with matrix number 1182027. Okay, now I will continue the presentation about Ibnu al-Qayyim's criticism, his view and his understanding. Okay, the first one is Ibnu al-Qayyim's view on fire as an element. Ibnu al-Qayyim opposed Greco-Islamic theory that humans had four components of which are water, fire, earth, and air, because the idea of these four elements does not fully comply with the information given in Al-Quran. He could find three of the elements mentioned in Al-Quran, in which some verses it was said that God had created man from the water, some that he had created man from the earth, and that he had created man from the clay, which is the combination of the earth and air. There was no single verses in Al-Quran confirming that God had created man from the fire. Instead, God had created fire as characteristic of the devil. This made it impossible for Ibnu al-Qayyim to accept the fire as an element of human being. In his opinion, the ones who maintained that fire was an element of human denied the God once word on his creation and therefore could not be considered as the believer. However, he did not deny the existence of the hotness and heat in our body. In his opinion, the heat does not have to be caused by the fire. It can be said that every fire is the heater, but not every heat is caused by the fire. His opposition to Greco-Islamic Christology was confined to the rejection of the fire as an element of others than the devil. He did not doubt the elements of earth, air and water exist as a component of the human being because there is evidence in the Quran. Next is Ibnu al-Qayyim's view regarding on etiology. Etiology is the causes of the certain illnesses. Ibnu al-Qayyim agreed that illnesses come from the God, but he did not discuss the details why he sent them to the people. He considered that illnesses were God punishment, were not God punishment to the believer, but God could use the illnesses to punish other people. Ibnu al-Qayyim expressed this view by quoting the Prophet's word that God has a plague contagious bacterial disease as a punishment to the Israelis and the Arabs in the pre-Islamic times. The plague was extended to the other severe diseases such as pleurisy and the intestinal ailment. The reason why the disease was considered as a fatal disease by Ibnu al-Qayyim because there is no cure was known for them. Illnesses could be a guidance or a warning given by the God. This way, the Ibnu al-Qayyim interpret the word of the prophets, which is the fever is the breath of the hell. God had created fever in order to give a foretaste of hell and to warn the soul of the strength of torment in it. Ibnu al-Qayyim also said that illnesses could be blessed in disguise because they are atone with the sins. The Prophet forbade the cursing of the fever and said that fever removes sins like fire removes dross from iron. But if the soul was too corrupted and given over what God had forbidden, it could not be purified by the fever. According to Ibnu al-Qayyim, the fever and the treatment both can form a positive combination because during the treatment of the patient was instructed to reject bad food and eat the wholesome food and medicaments. This will purify his body from the bad substance as well as the fever can purify the soul from the sins. In the cases of the witchcraft, according to Ibnu al-Qayyim, the evil spirit could damage the host's own body by causing him the serious illness. If the host's temperament was out of the balance, the spirit could take over the body. Some harmful substances such as agitated blood, black bile, or semen could damage the soul and make it impossible for the spirit to gain the power within the man. The influence of the spirit made it impossible to doctor to cure the patient because the spirit could not be defeated by the ordinary medicament. Only religious means were effective against them. For example, by reading the Al-Quran, by performing the prayers and mentioning the name of Allah, which is Zikrullah, could invoke the angelic spirit, which would then fight the evil spirit and counterattack their wickedness. The failure of the physician to understand the influence of the spirit was seen as the sign of the ignorance by Ibnu al-Qayyim. It was the reason why the Greco-Islamic medicine could not find the cure to some illnesses. Ibnu al-Qayyim's views was that if the doctor want to improve their art, they should not be concentrate solely on physical causes, but had to recognize the existence of the spirit itself and include the religious treatment in their practices. The next one is Ibnu al-Qayyim's view on contagion. As there is a contradiction of a hadith on contagion existence, Ibnu al-Qayyim explained that contagion means mentioned differ in its context. One refers to the superstitious belief, while the other refers to the illness. He also interprets that perhaps this hadith does not refer to the existence or non-existence of the contagion, instead advise the on way to overcome the contagion. Ibnu al-Qayyim held the opinion that it was better for us not to fear the contagion. According to him, fear of contagion itself may be the reason for contracting the disease. The fear of contagion weakened a person's resistance and made him susceptible to the disease. Furthermore, the fear of the contagion itself might damage the soul because its fear was so strong and it could take place the place of God in that soul. Next for me is understanding Al-Quran and Al-Sunnah in the words of Ibnu al-Qayyim. The main contribution of Ibnu al-Qayyim in medical epistemology is to Islamize the existing medical sciences by placing the high religious value to the medical guidance of Prophet Muhammad SAW, resulted from the reference to Al-Quran and Al-Hadith. He always referred to Al-Quran and Al-Hadith before giving his point of view towards a certain topics. For example, his view towards the fire as an element of human being, which has been explained before. He also referred to the other sources of medicines, sciences consisted of the eyewitnesses, contemplation, careful concise observation, experimental finding, and also the view from the prominent classical medical scholars from same era as him. In this case, Ibnu al-Qayyim always referred to his teacher, which is Ibnu Taymiyyah. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Afifa binti Aziz and my matrix number 1181965, and today I will deliver about Ibnu Qayyim on prophetic medicine. First of all, I would like to give an introduction about the prophet's medicine. Among the hadith, there are some that contain dietary and medical rules, and these medical sayings were gathered together into specialized hadith collections called the Prophet's Medicine. There are three authors of the Prophet's Medicine, were Ibnu Qayyim, Ibnu Muflih, and Al-Zahabi. But today, I will only touch Ibnu Qayyim on Prophet Medicine. Ibnu al-Qayyim relates the prophetic sayings with daily Muslim lives, offering advice as naming of children, curing aches and pains. He writes this on purpose, which is not for scholarly purpose, but for an ordinary Muslim to get close to prophetic life. Next, the methods of curing. There are three methods of curing that I will mention. The first one is cupping. There were several reports proving that the Prophet had allowed his companions to be cupped, and he even been cupped himself. The second is vivisection. The Prophet's attitude, however, towards the vivisection was not as clear. In Ibnu al-Qayyim's view, the Prophet had not rejected vivisection, but only warned against using it in specific circumstances. The third one, cautery. There is hadith that Prophet said, there is half in three things, which is drinking of honey, incision made by the carper's knife, and cautery with fire, and I forbid my people to cauterize. This hadith showed clear rejection of cautery was contradicted by other traditions, according to which the Prophet had permitted it, because there was a report that the Prophet had himself cauterized the wound of Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh in order to stop the bleeding. Therefore, Ibnu al-Qayyim considered cautery to be permissible because the Prophet had himself made use to it. The Prophet's rejection of cautery on another occasion was not certain, but was pointed to those who practiced it, because they believed that cautery can protect them against illness. Next, list of drug and foodstuff. The first one is ginger. Ibnu al-Qayyim defined ginger to be hot and mildly humid. Ginger aids digestion, dissolves wind, and is a moderated laxative. So, what is meant by laxative? Laxative is to facilitate the evacuation of the bowel. And ginger also helpful against obstructions in the liver. Next, forbidden medicaments. The first one, the prohibition of silk garment for men. There is hadith that allowed women to wear silk, but for men, silk garments were forbidden. But there are exceptions for those men that first did not have anything else to cover himself with, and the second suffered from itch or lice. Ibnu al-Qayyim held the opinion that salt delighted and strengthened the soul and was therefore beneficial in curing illnesses, especially illnesses that were caused by excessive black bile. The second one is prohibition on the usage of wine. There is statement in the Quran for the prohibition on the usage of wine, but many Muslim physicians approve of the drinking of wine and use it as a medicament. The fact that the doctors did not reject wine forced the three authors of the Prophet's medicine to discuss the prohibition more thoroughly. Ibnu Qayyim, al-Dhahabi and Ibnu Muflih quoted a tradition saying that the Prophet had been aware that wine was used in the treatment of illness, but he had forbidden its use and said, "Wine is not a cure, it is a disease." The prohibition on the usage of wine was further explained by Ibnu Qayyim that wine was forbidden because it was injurious. He recognized the curing qualities of wine, but affirmed that even if it benefited the body, it harmed the soul. Ibnu Qayyim also stated that to become effective medicine, a medicament had to be accepted by the patient, and the patient had to have faith in its curing effect. Of course, a true servant could not trust in being treated by a substance which God had forbidden. Therefore, if he utilized a medicament that he knew to be prohibited or forbidden, he could not trust in its curing effect, and the medicament will not cure his illness but make it become worse.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Najwa Hayani binti Serti, matric number 1181982. So now I would like to continue the presentation about Ibnu Qayyim on prophetic medicine. Let's start. Right. So, prophetic medicine influences both body and soul, a knowledge unachieved by physicians. Ibnu Qayyim did not reject logical sciences and medicines, but rather sees it as incomplete. Okay, in his book Zadul Ma'ad, he combines the prophetic medicine and medical ancient sciences to introduce Islamic medicine. Okay, the example can be seen when the Prophet ﷺ advised Abu Hurairah to perform prayer during summer Eid. Prayer combines spiritual and physical exercise, hence act as complete cure because this knowledge is divine revelations. Alright. So, Ibnu Qayyim wrote a lot about physical illnesses in his writings. Among many diseases, there are diseases that are common and the treatment are well known. For example, epilepsy, ophthalmia, sciatica, headache, fever, diarrhea, and there are also tumor, dropsy, pleurisy, lice, and leprosy. Among the physical illnesses also, there are also diseases that are described in more superficial way. For example, like Ibnu Qayyim described ambergris or anbar. He wrote that its temperament is hot and dry. It strengthens the heart, brain, senses, and organs of the body. It is effective against semi-paralysis or falige, facial paralysis or laqwa, phlegmatic disease, cold pains in the stomach, and boiling winds. As a drink or ointment, it is effective against obstructions or sodad. When used as a fumigant, it is effective against cold or zukam, headache, sudah, and cold migraine. Cold migraine, which is shaqiqa barida. Alright. Here are also about diseases and treatment which are mentioned by the Prophet. For example, the usage of camel's milk and urine for the treatment of dropsy or edema. So what he did is he explained more about the hadith and relate it with medical science. The science behind it. He explained the science behind it. Right, so in this case, he explained that it is medically correct as the combination of milk and urine will help to flush out waste materials and soften the bowels. Alright, there are also a hadith mentioning that for the treatment of ophthalmia or rheumatoid is by dropping cold water in the eye. Okay, so he said that not everyone is suitable for this treatment because not every climate is the same. Okay. So he specified it for a certain type of ophthalmia only regarding the environment or the climate. Okay, preferably then at place similar to Mecca and Medina, the climate. Okay. He also elaborated a few other hadith from the Prophet in great detail. For instance, the use of honey to treat diarrhea, drinking malted fat ale of Bedouin sheep to treat sciatica, and Indian aloe to treat pleurisy. Okay. In his book, he wrote a great detail, and he compared with other writers. Alright. Okay. Next is, he also wrote about diseases and treatments which are not mentioned by the Prophet. Okay. So, in this, there are diseases which the treatment is mentioned by the Prophet, but Ibnu Qayyim provide few other alternative treatments complementary to Prophet's suggestion. For example, he included drought of squash or yaqtan, or the smelling of sweet basil, or raihan farisi or habak can be used to treat a hot headache. The fragrance of narcissus or nargis can be used to soothe headache caused by phlegm or black bile, and ambergris or anvar, used as incense, help against a cold migraine, in addition to the only treatment of headache using henna stated by the Prophet. So Prophet just mentioned about henna to treat headache, but Ibnu Qayyim provided a lot of other alternatives to treat a lot of other types of headache. Okay. There are also diseases based on the Greco-Islamic medicine. For example, he mentioned that cress or hub al-rashad as cure for disease called rubble, which is a lung disease, and the symptom is difficulty of breathing. Can be found in his book. Okay. Ibnu Qayyim also emphasized on soul health in his writing more than physical health, because the Greco-Islamic stresses on physical aspect more than spiritual aspect, despite admitting the importance of both. Okay. He was certain that as man would not be healthy by focusing on soul and neglecting the body. Men would not be healthy too by focusing on only the body. So it requires both, body and soul. Okay. Ibnu Qayyim and Ibnu Taymiyyah prefer using illnesses of the heart. This is the term, illness of heart rather than illness of soul. So because it is the heart that acknowledges God and is ill with overflowing emotions. It's not the soul but the heart. Next, on soul health also, he focused on passionate love or ishq as illness of heart, when the love towards an object decreases the love towards God. Hence, it prevented from remembering and worshipping God. So, it is not good. Okay. He also expressed his view on grief or gham or huzn and envy or hasad. He did not just explain the practice and consequences of grief, but also suggest for cure using divine medicaments such as jihad. On envy, it was mentioned that the only cure for it to not possess as evil eye is to eradicate the feeling of envy. So in order a person want to avoid from feeling envy, he must to get rid the feeling of envy first. Alright, that's all from our group. Thank you very much for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.